Hey, how's it going? This is Brandon here, and today I want to share some extra ways to make more income on Turo. So renting your car out on Turo, or even a spare car that you have, is a great way to make extra income every month. And real quick, I want to share with you guys how I got started on it. So almost a year ago, I was online on an auction website bidding on a 2017 Porsche Boxster, and little did we know I would win the auction. So I was not really prepared for it financially or mentally to have this car in my possession, and it was really a huge mistake. So I messed with Turo a few years ago with my C6 Corvette and never really took it serious. I didn't have many days available for rent, and I was priced way too high. So this time, having this brand new Porsche, I decided it's time to take it serious and really give it my all and really treat this like a business. And that's what I did. So the very first thing that I did is I pretty much looked at the market for Turo in my area and looked at what other cars were available. And I really looked at cars that were similar to mine, like convertibles and luxury sports cars. And I looked for what they were being priced at a day, what other amenities they were offering, if they were offering airport drop off and pickup or not, what their hours were like. And that's pretty much how I decided to base my business around. And by doing this research, I learned that you are more than likely to get your car rented out if you offered airport drop off and pickup. Also, you would maximize the traffic to your cars if you are more available at all hours of the day for people to come rent your cars. So when listing my Porsche, I really had to make a decision on what I was gonna price it at. And I decided to price it at between $155 to $170 a day. Obviously, this depends on the day of the week, the month of the year, and if there's any holiday weekends coming up, of course, prices would change then. But I made sure I priced it around this point where I could still make some money. I factored in depreciation. I also was able to factor in maintenance that could happen in this car, and really just a price that made sense and it wasn't going too overboard or too under. Now, I offered a 100-mile daily limit, and if they decided to go over the daily limit, it would cost them 1% of the trip fee. So if the car was $155 a day, every single mile they went over would cost them $1.50. And believe it or not, more times than you would think, people would go over on miles, end up having to reimburse you the money that they went over. Within hours of me listing my car on Turo, I actually had my first trip booked. And it was booked for a few days out, which was pretty awesome and really made me feel amazing. And I realized that I gained a lot of traction from this, and I was really excited that I took the time to diligently research the market and price my car competitively. Now, a big thing is that I always went above and beyond to make sure I gave great customer service to every single person that rented my car. With that being said, I detailed it finely. I made sure the car was beautiful inside and out before they got the car. And I also made sure I was, accommodating to whatever guests could need. Like if they needed to pick up the car 30 minutes earlier or 30 minutes later, or if they wanted to extend an extra day or two. I was always flexible and able to make things happen. I can only think of like one time where I was not able to make something happen for a guest. So with that being said, I was able to get 5 stars for almost every single trip I've had in my Porsche, except for one, I got 4 stars. But with that being said, I was able to become an all-star host on Turo. And with being an all-star host, they do choose your car to be featured a little more in the search engine, which does also help my car being rented more days than most people. So that's a big thing, is making sure you are staying on top of your customer service and just giving it your all. And after every single trip you complete, you have the option to review or rate your guests that rented your car, and also leave them a discount code between 5, 10, or 15%. Now, I always choose to leave them discount codes. Most of the time, I leave 10% discount codes. If they weren't really my favorite, I'll leave them a 5% discount code. However, this has led to me having a few repeat guests, which is awesome. If someone already rented your car, that they like your car, that they're gonna treat your car well. There's no need to not give them a discount code to come rent your car again in the future. And it's made me a few $100s extra just by doing this. Now, time to talk about the fun stuff that everyone loves, and it's pretty much getting into how much I've made on Turo so far. So my biggest question whenever I tell people that I rent my cars out on Turo is, how does insurance work? So Turo does insure you, which is awesome. I think it's through Liberty Mutual Insurance. Now, I choose the 90 plan, the 90% protection plan. So with this being said, I pretty much get to keep 90% of all of the revenue that comes in off of me renting my car, and Turo then keeps the 10%, but the 10% also covers my insurance. Now with this plan, I do have a $2,500 deductible in the case that somebody steals my car or damage happens to it, which does suck that it is that much money, but it just makes the most sense to me. So that's the plan that I choose, and that's how the insurance works. And I get to keep every other penny after that. So I bought the car in March and I listed it right away within a couple of weeks. So from mid-March to now, I've actually made a little over $15,000 off of regular trip earnings from renting the car out, as you guys can see. And I've also made a little over $500 in reimbursements. And what the reimbursements mainly are people going over their mileage limit and having to pay an extra at least $1.55 to $1.70 per mile. And as you can see, the busiest months for July, August, and September, due to me living in a place that's very seasonal, and obviously the weather is a huge factor on someone wanting to rent a convertible sports car. So, that played a big factor in it, but it's still fine. Those months were great and made up for a majority of my income coming in for the car. So when I purchased the car, it had a little under 17,000 miles, and now today it has a little over 30,000 miles. So with that being said, we have put around 13,000 miles on the car since March, and it is now December. However, almost every day when the car was not being rented out from Turo, I was personally driving it. So these aren't all Turo miles. Probably more than half of them are Turo miles. However, it's still cool to see that, not so many miles could equate to a lot of money. So you gotta think that we've made over $15,000 and only 13,000 miles have been put on the car, which is just awesome to look at it from perspective. Now, after renting the car out all summer, I saw how well the Porsche did. I actually decided to add another car to my fleet. So a few months ago, I went ahead and I bought a 2013 Maserati GranTurismo convertible sport. That's a lot to say. And I actually, had some issues with getting it listed on Turo, but I was eventually able to get it listed on Turo in October. So I haven't really seen a full season with the Maserati yet, but I'm sure the Maserati will do amazing next year and next summer. So I actually do have the Maserati listed at a little more than the Porsche at $170 a day with a 100-mile daily limit. And so far, as you guys can see, I've rented the car out 5 separate times for 5 separate trips, and I've pulled in a little over $1,000. And I actually do have one more trip coming up, as you guys can see, and that is actually in the next couple of days, and that is a 3-day trip for $500. And why that pulled in so much money even after Turo's fees is because they added airport drop-off and pickup, which I do charge an extra $120 just to do that. As you all can all see, Turo is a great way to bring in some extra monthly income. Altogether, I pulled in a little over $17,000 in 2021 through Turo. Now, this does not include any maintenance fees or anything like that I've incurred. And if I added them all up, I would say it's a little under $2,000 I've spent on both cars this year, which really isn't too much if you think about it. So we still profit around $15,000 this year just off Turo, off of having these cars. So I definitely recommend this to anybody that wants to get into a nice sports car but can't really justify paying that much money for it. It's a great way to pretty much justify buying the sports car. Also, if you guys have another car, like a secondary car just laying around in your driveway, it wouldn't hurt to list it on Turo. I just once again recommend listing it fairly. Don't overprice it, don't underprice it, and really do your research on your market. That's very important. But once again, thank you all very much for watching my video today. If you did enjoy it, please make sure to hit the subscribe button, and we'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you.